For your treat of the day, do you know Likeness Looter? Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today's deck list comes to us from Plum Wizard, who has a spicy one. And honestly, I think this is going to be pretty good. I only changed one or two cards in this deck. So the idea is to kill the opponent in about 2 combat steps, with either a large Death's Shadow or a Phyrexian Dreadnought. Now, Phyrexian Dreadnought can get into play successfully with either a Dress Down or a Consign to Memory. Those are the ways that you're probably used to. But there is also Likeness Looter, a creature which loots, hence the name. But more importantly, for X, this creature becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X. In our case, probably 1, except it has flying and this ability activate only as a sorcery. So you can use your Likeness Looter to discard a Phyrexian Dreadnought and then turn into a Phyrexian Dreadnought. You similarly could use it to turn into a Death Shadow, and the upside here is that you get to keep your flying. So you get the evasion, which is a pretty big deal. Generally speaking, I have not loved the cards that look like Likeness Looter in Legacy. There's also a legendary creature that does a similar thing. I found that they're a little bit clunky, but this deck is just full of good cards, and we have some reasonable plan Bs that we can do if we just need to play a singular card that can win the game. Versus combo in game 1, we have Thoughtseize and Force of Will and Consign to Memory if that is relevant as well, and occasionally for creature-based combo, Dress Down can do some stuff too. This should be pretty interactive, and it also features I know one of my favorites in my Discord, people love this card, Ripples of Undeath. As far as the sideboard, I think I changed like 1 card. I think there were originally 3 copies of Orcish Bowmasters. I wanted to insert a Null Rod into the list, kind of hedge against some artifact-based combo and have more answers to something like a Goblin Charbelcher as well, if that becomes necessary. I understand wanting Bowmasters, though. In addition to being a normal blue deck, you also have things like Likeness Looter that, like, Orcish Bowmasters is going to be problematic against. Before I play the deck, it's a little hard for me to know whether or not there's enough life loss in the deck in game 1. Like, we do have Watery Graves, but we also just have a pile of Underground Seas. It's possible the deck should have another fetch land or 2 in here. It's possible there should be something like Snuff Out in here. But generally speaking, I think Plum Wizard's deck looks pretty good. So let's throw it into a league and see if the results hold up. I think the biggest point of contention that I potentially have with the deck list is like, does this just need to be Leyline of the Void? Because that's where we're at in Legacy right now. But I really understand wanting to have this plus Thoughtseize available. So you Thoughtseize, say, a Show and Tell from your opponent, you surgically extract them or something like that, and you just massively neuter an angle of their deck. So I get it. Folks, Final Fantasy spoilers have started. Should you need any of those cards for that set, and remember, they will be standard legal this time around, consider buying them from toamagic.com. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order, and you always get free shipping when you order with them. If you're heading to Vegas, look for this purple banner. There's going to be some good deals underneath it. So with that being said, let's battle. Okay, opening hand does not have any mana here. We are paired against a Yorion deck of some kind. I think this hand is fine. I think I'm getting rid of Brainstorm, as crazy as that is. I think I'm just Thoughtseizing on 1, Likeness Looter on 2, and then we do Phyrexian Dreadnought things on turn 3. Misty Rainforest. I don't really want the bonus lands here. Oh no, I have to read cards. I don't like where this is going. Whenever this enchanter enters, sacrifice a creature. Okay, I remember this one. So this is going to... Oh, no. Oh, I hate this. Opponent's deck is sweet, to clarify. Like, I love this for them. But, boy, I think I'm in trouble. Alright, whenever this enters or attacks, draw 2. And discard a card. Okay. So, This is the short-term thing that is problematic for me. Long-term, I'm going to lose to a lot of the rest of this stuff, I think, especially in combination. This card is bullshit if it gets going. I think we are doing the thing that is best in the short term. My opponent is going to have so much dirtle. Like, they're going to be able to Yori and blink this shit. We've got to close games out fast. We're going to get fucking eaten alive as these games go along. Oh, I don't like that my opponent put a card on top. Okay, that was a land. There's a Death Shadow. My life total is not going to be low enough to mess around with that in the short term. So I guess conceptually, my big problem is that this gets to just dig for any number of different removal spells. My opponent potentially has like Leyline Bindings in there as well. So we know they are bug plus white. I haven't seen red yet. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. We're chilling. Well, how do I want to do this? I can do this in the way that potentially attacks for 12 right now. Or I can do this in the more conservative way, where I just cast this, let it hit graveyard, make a copy of it, attack. Or I don't know if I said that the same way twice. I can either attack for 12 this turn, or I can attack for 1 this turn and try to set this up for the future. I think I am attacking for 12 this turn. So I'll sacrifice my Dreadnought. I will make a copy of it. 12/12 flyer, here we go. I have a consign to memory available for something like a Leyline Binding, based on the way that I've chosen to play this out here. Thalia. Okay. Opponent's definitely cooking. So my opponent can just blink this, and that's fine. Just costs me a mana. Okay, so my opponent could do this could blink that to get a flyer. That's fine. I'll let them loot, junking the Estrids, and then when Thalia attacks and targets that, I just counter that trigger and not give my opponent any more looks or a blocker. Take 2. Sure. And my opponent can remove a counter. And hopefully they just die here. They do just die here. Fantastic. I'm so scared of this deck once we get outside of the early game. That played out exactly like I want it to. I want to punch a hole and kill my opponent. My opponent is a high variance deck as a Yorion deck. I am unsure how to sideboard accordingly. I think Ripples is slow. I think I get rid of Ripples. I think I'm looking at some amount of this stuff to disrupt what my opponent is doing. I think I'm keeping Thought Seizes and Force of Wills and a couple Dismembers. There's so many different ways these games can play out. Like, the Thalia thing can happen early and then I want Dismembers, or my opponent can just have a powerful enchantment that they play out that I need to Force of Negation. But sometimes they're just going to cast things on my turn and completely accidentally play around Force of Negation. I'm going to go up a Dismember and play 1 oh shit Brazen Borrower. I need a second land, but I think I am going to keep this one. I have Dreadnought and way to make Dreadnought happen. That's good enough for me. Okay, that's not overly surprising. Ponder is great. I'm going to use that to look for another land. Those aren't lands. Force of Will is okay. Oculus or Brazen Borrower is my current Force of Will pitch. I don't know which one exactly. That's awkward. I think my opponent just wins if they get mana. Their deck is slow. I think I just need to deny that mana, even if it's 1 mana. This is not what I want. This is a very important brainstorm. Watery Grave. That does not do it immediately. I'm taking everything back here, so it doesn't really matter what I do. I just need to keep the Consigns and Dismember available. Didn't get to do my thing on turn 2. Hopefully turn 3 is still fine. I don't have Force of Will backing up my creature anymore. I think is fine, because I get to make Dreadnoughts two turns in a row. There's probably an entire playset of this in the sideboard if I were to guess, by the way. So notably, if you play this in your first main phase, you can use it in your second main phase to just get mana, which is great. That catapults my opponent ahead. Uro is fine. I'm not going to consign to memory the trigger, believe it or not. Edge Maze, and Caracas. This is all fine. My opponent doesn't actually have that many cards. So, Dreadnought, Trigger, and Consign. We've got a Deuter. We'll see if my opponent just immediately answers this, though. I used a Force of Will to get rid of Carpet of Flowers, and then my opponent just had another Carpet, which is real awkward for me. White mana, not a great sign. Elia is fine. Elia Caracas is more annoying. That's enchantments become dudes? Yes. So Felia can blink my Dreadnought. Opponent does not have mana to turn these into Death Touchers immediately. I've got a few different ways to play this out. And a big thing here is how I end up using the consigned memory. Opponent takes 12 going to 10. I think I can likely win the game with just this Dreadnought. I think I'm going to probably end up dismembering Felia and using some combination of these 3 cards to get over the finish line next turn. Carpet's fine. So combat happens. That's not... I don't like the interface for this on Magic Online. I understand why it works the way that it does, but I don't love it. There's a Force of Will pitching Estrid's Invocation. This is still fine. My opponent's going to go to combat. They're going to attack with Felia and Zur. Felia is going to attempt to blink this Dreadnought, and then I'm going to consign to memory that. Boop. And then I have lethal on the backswing, assuming nothing crazy is in my opponent's hand for that final card. I will take 3. You do have Carpet of Flowers mana. But what's the last card? We're not getting Yorion into play, so it's just fully, is that last card something that deals with a Dreadnought? Because Zur is not going to be enough. Caracas bounce Zur, recast Zur as a blocker. I will Brazen Borrower that out of the way. This is fine. You may have another Carpet of Flowers. Petty Theft. Target Zur. Take Zur out of play. Opponent has no mana, no cards, and no life. GG's. We went turbo there. That was 2 very, very successful games on our end. I am horrified of what happens when these games go longer, though. Like, Uro was coming shortly. Yorion was, like, surprisingly on the table once double Carpet of Flowers was going on. I did not have a lot of time here, and things lined up very well for me. I also got a little lucky in hitting that extra land drop that I needed. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Profield if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Okay. No lands. Easy mulligan. This is going to be similar to the hand from the last game, where if I draw a land, I do a Dreadnought early. The primary difference here is that I don't have anything to back it up right now. I think I'm pretty far away from Death Shadow, so I'm going to get rid of that. An opponent is a fan of the content. Well, show me your sweet deck, friend. Good luck. I'm going to go ahead and just ponder looking for land 2 here. Oh, I would love to have one of these 2 cards to force this through. I think second land is currently more important. Okay. That is what I asked for, to be fair. Bloodstained Mire, not the fairest of lands. Okay. Could be worse. We've got plans. I think I'm going to brainstorm here while Bowmasters is not available. I probably don't want both Likeness Looters, and I think I'm a little ways away from a Death Shadow. I think I'm going to go bam, bam, surveil land, send Shadow to graveyard, and be okay with the stuff that's there. My opponent's going to get to start making clues. They are perhaps not immediately a threat, but they will pose long-term issues. So my opponent is going to be able to wasteland me while transforming Tamiyo. That's pretty good. So then Tamiyo will plus to 4 loyalty, and I lose out on a land. I think I'm going to go for it. My opponent has really good inevitability here, and if this doesn't work, I will just get to play a Likeness Looter afterwards. And if it works, fantastic. We're in play, but we can't get excited because cards like Fatal Push exist that could just take this out immediately. Oh, buddy, I don't like that second Wasteland for me. Fuck, it was also the Fatal Push. Oh, that's so bad. So now I don't have the second land for Likeness Looter, and Tamiyo can also minus to get a Fatal Push back. I think I'm donezo. I'm not to Shadow yet. I'm gonna take the land and leave a Force of Will on top. This just pluses to 8. Mom, I'm being bullied. Wasteland. Real good Magic the Gathering card. Opponent says sorry about that. It was so good. I wish we had seen a little bit more of my opponent's deck, but I think that's just the end. I want Bowmasters for my opponent's potential Bowmasters. I think I want Dismember. And then there's this question of, like, do I actually want to be a Force of Will deck? I think I don't. I'm going to get a Brazen Borrower or 2 in here. Trim? Maybe Trim. This is the sort of hand where I don't quite have anything going yet, but hopefully between maybe like a Brainstorm and a Surveil land, I can find something to do with the Likeness Looter. Death's Shadow will be online somewhat quickly. I'm going to Surveil land here with the intention of brainstorming on my own turn in all likelihood. I'm going to junk that. I am looking for something to pair with this. Okay. So, I'm still going to do this now because Bowmaster exists. 3 cards in graveyard, 4 cards in graveyard, 5 cards in graveyard. Looter is just, like, not the plan anymore. I think Looter is just not the plan anymore. I am going to damage myself here, though. I'll ponder. The next land is honestly pretty good. I would prefer it to be a fetch land. The 6th card in graveyard matters a lot. I am going to just accept this. I guarantee my land for the Oculus, and I will have a legacy play next turn. It might not be the crazy cool one that I want, but I will have something that I can do. Scalding Tarn. Goyf? More other Goyf. But they're small and cute. Dismember is slightly awkward versus those. Like, I can do it, but I don't know if I will want to. I think I'm just going to take this hit. Losing additional life is not necessarily a bad thing in the short term. I think with 2 of these, I will now go ahead and do this. Cool. It does grow the other one. I will cast a Shadow, and I think just pass the turn. I think I'd rather loot than draw. Sorry, I think I'd rather loot than deal 1 damage. Alright. Ow. Ow. Do the thing. Board's clear. I lose a land. I'm a little further away from Oculus. That's fine. Bowmaster is so scary. That's fine. Loot? Rid of this? Or like... I'll hold that. Get rid of Ponder. Cast a Brainstorm. End of turn around Bowmasters. And just try to hit the next land drop to tap out for Oculus. That's fine. So I'm going to make land drop. I think I'm going to go to combat and attack with both immediately. Oh, it just died. Sick. I probably technically should be super paying attention to what cards I'm taking out of my graveyard for the purposes of an opposing Goyf. I just snapped that Death Shadow into play because I can transform it for 1 mana, but I wonder if it was correct to not do that because of Likeness Looter and Evasion. I think this was correct. More other Tamiyo. Brainstorm. Don't have this open right now. Tamiyo transforms. Tamiyo very quickly pluses. It is a Bowmaster now. That's fine. I have 16 damage. I don't think I am trying to win, like, immediately. I'm going to kill that Tamiyo by attacking it for 4. Then attack my opponent with 2 respectable-sized bodies. My opponent blocks. I'll turn this other one face up. Opponent is at 11. I'll drop a land, and I'm comfortable just passing the turn here. Oculus does Oculus stuff, picks up a Brazen Borrower. Murktide? Oh, it's Netherglyph coming back. Sure. Do I want to counter that? Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. Just gets rid of a redraw for my opponent. And that's enough for my opponent there. GG. It had a lot of just cantrips and fluff in the next couple of cards, but I had so much stuff on board that was fine. Do I need to do anything to address Netherglyph? Like, do I want a surgical extraction just in there somewhere to keep those from coming back and repeatedly chump blocking? I don't think so. I don't think I like this one. I've just got a little bit too much clunk. I don't think one Brainstorm saves that hand. This'll do. I'm going to get rid of Dress Down here. Opponent did keep their 7, though. It is a Goyf. Sure. Let's try to punch a hole here. And one Thoughtseize might not punch a hole. Wasteland. I mean, yeah, that's happening. I'm going to get rid of Fatal Push. The other Netherglyph is absolutely a problem, though. I just kind of have to believe in my deck, I think. Goodbye, land. Hello, Netherglyph number 2. There are only 2/3s right now, but that collectively is still quite a bit of damage. I'm going to go ahead and grab a basic this turn. It's just so incredibly important that I don't get wastelanded immediately. I had Dress Down still. Double Dreadnought would be cool, but I don't. Dismember. Opponent gets to Brainstorm. There are timelines where I dismember rather than just try to Dreadnought immediately. I'll have to think about that a little bit, depending on what I draw here. I think I have to go for the Dreadnought, unfortunately. I think I am just taking too much hypothetical damage here. Alright, I'm in play. Am I just going to get Fatal Pushed immediately? Fuck. Yeah, I was slightly worried that the one Thoughtseize wasn't going to be enough to push all of this through. I can Dismember for 2 life to save me the 2 life that I would take on attack. I don't really know if that's playing to win, though. I might need to try to find a Shadow. Shadow stabilizing the board would be pretty big game. I'm going to do Ponder. Ponder looks at 4 cards specifically for it. Shuffle that. Ripples. Not great. I might be dead now. I can pay 4 life for a Dismember and take 2 more in combat damage. That'll do. I'm dead, unfortunately. I have other lines this turn. Like, I can Dismember for 2 life, take 2 more, go to 1, then fetch lands are off. Likeness Looter, if I draw the natural land, can maybe stabilize the board from there, but like there's still cantrips left that can help my opponent. GG's. Alright. Opponent says, always a pleasure. Good luck with the game. You too. Opening hand obviously does not have any lands. That's an auto mulligan. This is fine. We have Likeness Looter into Dreadnought. Let's assume that I ponder on 1. Let's assume that I always keep both lands. I think I get rid of second Likeness Looter and keep Oculus. Oculus is just a house. A loving eyeball house. So, Shock and Ponder. I don't know that I specifically need any of that. Dress Down is interesting. Dress Down gives me the first use of Phyrexian Dreadnought. Although if my opponent can exile things, that might change how I play this out. I'll still do it the Dress Down way. This is worse if my opponent is just Nadu, and I'm going to potentially just be dead. And it looks like that might be the case. The Vile version. Dress Down resolves, picking up a land. Brainstorm's fine. Let's attempt Dreadnought. That is a Force of Will pitching a Narcomoeba. Okay. I believe that I am just going to ignore the fact that I could die next turn and play the thing that allows me to attack for 12 next turn. But my opponent can, in theory, just go Cephalid Illusionist, Vile in a Nomad's Encore, and I die. Vile up to 1. Alright, cool. It's just manipulation. That kills me, but slower. Urza's Saga. That represents Shuko in a little while. I'm not a Wasteland deck. Dress Down can clear Urza's Saga tokens, though, so That is at least good. So, we are a copy of Phyrexian Dreadnought. Gonna Memories Journey me? Are gonna Memories Journey me. So, this can only be activated at sorcery speed. I would Force of Will this. This is fine. Put back you, and you. That resolves. So now, fetch. Are we still gunning for Death Shadow? I think we're still gunning for Death Shadow as a possibility. My life total is not super relevant here. So sack the Dreadnought, Likeness Looter, this other Dreadnought. Hit for 12. We got the O in chat from opponent. Yeah, we're here to rumble. Whether or not I die is largely outside of my control from here, though. Like, we'll just see how much interaction / combo potential my opponent has here. Nadu. Well, show me what you got. Nothing. Ooh. Feel like we got a little lucky here. An opponent said, by the way, oh, that's not until end of turn. Yeah, that's just becomes forever. I want some amount of additional interaction for my opponent's stuff. Disruptor Flute's okay. Dismember's okay. Bowmasters and Nullrod are playable. Brazen Borrower's not embarrassing. I think Ripples is too slow here. I think that's gotta go. Most of the rest of my stuff is pretty reasonable. I think I'm going to play the extra Dismembers because they help me enable Death Shadow. And I'm not sure on Flute. Flute conceptually seems good. Maybe it's slow when I'm on the draw. Maybe it's slow when I'm on the draw. I have an okay hand in a very fast matchup. It is possible that this hand is not fast enough with an ETB tapped land. I think this is not fast enough. Blue enjoyers yelling in the comments. This is fine. I'm going to keep it, and I think I'll get rid of Consign. I have a Likeness Looter already for if I draw a Dreadnought. I just get to turn 1 Thoughtseize with this hand, which just vastly increases the chance that I don't die. Are you ready for Veil of Summer? Here we go. Ah, it's Brainstorm instead. That's so much better. Those sure aren't lands. So Bam, Bam, Bam are all the same side of the deck. This represents a different side of the deck. I think I will take the Tutor. But it is very possible that I am being baited with partial information here. Ho ho ho, no. There is no land. Okay. Well, Watery Grave. Stick a Likeness Looter. My opponent does have Memories Journey, but that does cost 2 mana, and they kind of have 0 mana. Hopefully this fixes the problem. Okay, it kind of fixes the problem. Hopefully I'm just dismembering that and moving on with my life. Ow. Yeah? Rainstorm here? That is a Dreadnought? Dreadnought's pretty good. Did I play a land? Yes, I played Flooded Strand. So this land is going to go back. If the Likeness Looter goes back, I'll fetch. I think this is a regular old Underground Sea. I will go ahead and Thoughtseize my opponent here. Oh, multiple Cephalid Illusionists. Yes, I'm taking the Ponder then. And I will intend on looting away Dreadnought and then attacking. So loot, discard, bam, attempt Dreadnought. Memories Journey happens, that's fine. I now can't Oculus. Maybe I was supposed to Oculus first. Brainstorm. Never didn't have it. Put back 1 and 2. Cast Dreadnought. Sacrifice it. Likeness Looter. Dreadnought. I don't think I played that turn perfectly, but I do think it worked out pretty damn well. My opponent just dies next turn if they don't combo kill me here. And I don't think it can because they would need land plus other Duder. And this tramples and flies. We have gotten the GGs in chat. Yeah, opponent said that was a super risky keep, got lucky, even getting out of the Brainstorm lock. I agree. Sometimes you want to keep risky hands. I think their deck is powerful enough where they don't have to keep risky 7s. Like, there's so many 6 or even 5 card hands that just have the possibility to have me dead or close to it on turn 2 or 3. Regardless, GG's. Okay, no lands. which honestly has been the primary reason that I have mulliganed. Otherwise, most of our hands have been pretty darn keepable. Yeah, I don't know about this. I have no manipulation to find another land here, and no real good plays. I have Force of Will and something to pitch to it. I think I'll go to 5. This deck is very capable of some crazy kills, and I'm just going to lean into that. Is this the time for ripples? After I have mulliganed. Honestly, it might be. Like, throwback Consign, throwback 1 Brainstorm, try to hit a land drop. I'm going to go for Watery Grave, and just hope my opponent doesn't have Wasteland. No. Force of Will is medium. Damn. Yep. If I get basic island on that first turn, and I miss black, I end up generating 2 unkeepables. No bueno. Like a Dimir tempo deck. I think because I don't have lands, I am just taking this line. Resolves. And now I'll just see how long it is until we draw a land. Assuming my opponent does something powerful, I will probably pack this up pretty quickly. But there's a chance that I could get back into it. Bowmasters is awkward. Uh-huh. Alright. I'm in. Brainstorm in response to use the Brainstorm. My Death Shadow will be castable next turn. I probably hide that on top. I am at 12. I will get probably attacked to 10, although Kaito is a thing that exists. Here we go. Heyo, it's Kaito. Bam, 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 bam. That's rough. That's a lot of additional damage. So the Kaito is super problematic here for the stun counters specifically. I can play a very large creature, it just doesn't do me any good. I think I can concede here. Kaito being a hexproof creature on my opponent's turn is rough. Let's assume more Dismembers is okay. Let's assume Bowmasters is okay. I can maybe go down on either Force of Will or Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to go Force of Will and call that okay. Okay, I have more than enough mana here. The hand will likely develop into something reasonable, but it's not quite there immediately. Ponder's fine. I'll use a Surveil land here, I think, over dealing damage to myself. And then I'm just going to lazily fetch now. For the sewers? I don't need that land. I got a different land instead. I'll deal some damage to myself. I'll do the Likeness Looter, which I conceptually like as a card, but when we are playing these blue pseudo mirrors and Bowmasters is all over the place, it's a little less consistent than I might otherwise like. Hey, there's that Bowmasters that I was just talking about. And I think I do want to play this out on curve and not, like, sandbag it for a turn to hold up Consigned to Memory. I think I'm awkwardly cantripping here. I could wait a turn cycle on this. I'll draw a card. I'm going to draw another card here, just while it is safe to do so. I'll use the Thoughtseize in a minute. A new Looter, mid. Dismember, also kind of mid. It enables Shadow. I'll probably just naturally do that, though. I'm going to shuffle those. It is a Dismember. Sure. I'll lose Dress Down at end of turn. So the hope here is that I am not punished by Kaito or not Thoughtseizing. Kaito is really rough for these large creatures that don't have any special abilities. Alright, cool. Okay, that's it from my opponent. Ooh, I absolutely don't mind that. Opponent Bowmasters me in response. I'm good with that, I think. So the Fatal Push is problematic immediately. I'm gonna take that. Gonna fetch. Yeah. Shadow. And Bowmaster. One of my opponent's Bowmasters. I have a lot of damage. And my opponent did not cast a Brainstorm immediately, which is nice for me. The Murktide's scary, though. Like, Fatal Push is the way that I work towards winning. But depending on how my opponent plays that out, the Murktide is probably a 6 Oh, they left Fatal Push in yard. Oh, that's so good for me. Wow, 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 that's good. Okay. Oh, I see. They're gonna Mystic Sanctuary the Fatal Push into play. No? I think I just Dismember first, and then I consider countering afterwards. Dismember. I think I'm gonna stop the Fatal Push. It was going to grow the Murktide Regent, which is sick value, but I think I just don't want my opponent drawing it. I have multiple good bodies in play. Send in with Shadow. It's possible I needed to be more aggressive with lowering my life total that turn. And I should be at 7 instead, and my opponent should be at 11. I'll take that to grow my Shadow. 7. Wasteland's fine. I can't really use that much mana anyway. Hey, what if my opponent doesn't block? This is potentially Force of Will. I think I do 3 combat ripples. Attempt to bait force. Did not work. I think we're sending it. Opponent is at 13. Is a very important number. In case you're not familiar with this interaction, if I cast Dress Down, Petty Theft. Yes. Anyway, if I would have cast Dress Down there, it would have been nice. Are we Bowmaster trading? We are Bowmaster trading. Opponent is at 12. I will recast this Death's Shadow, and my opponent can put in their Brazen Borrower. Yes. This is going to be tight. Brainstorm from the opponent. Now that my Bowmaster is gone, I think I'm going to die to a removal spell. But I stopped that Fatal Push from coming back previously, so we still have some short-term victories. Alright, I will take 3. Going to 4. That is a Murktide. That's big. That kills me. Ripples. So I can go to 1 to get an Oculus? I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in casting Dress Down on my opponent's turn to remove flying from their creatures, and then blocking 2 creatures at once. Like block, block, kill, kill, take 2, and then try to swing out with Shadow. I could do that while also trying to get Bowmaster. I think I'm just going to say no and cast Brainstorm. I'm going to ignore the fact that my opponent's last card could be another Bowmaster. Delicious. So now things got weird. Draw a card. Thoughtseize, not going to do it. Dreadnought. I die in the air. My opponent chump blocks with like a token or a Bowmaster, and I'm dead in the air. Well, damn, that was real close. GG, that was a good one. Okay, we have one of these Island Brainstorm hands. I have 2 Consigned Memories that I can't use. I have a Likeness Looter without a creature. I have a Ripples without black mana. I think there's too many things wrong with this one. This is also not great. On this many cards, I'll keep it and hope to work it towards something. Ponder is going to need to do some heavy lifting, though. Oh, wow, we're already at match 5. All right, let us ponder. These cards are fine. I am okay drawing all of this. Now I've probably got about enough damage to damage myself into Death's Shadow range. So this is 3, this is 4, 5, Thoughtseize is 6, 7. Yeah, we're in the right ballpark. So we know we are playing against Show and Tell. I have a Dress Down that I can put in if my opponent has a fast Show and Tell. Otherwise, I have Thoughtseize. Third card down is an Oculus, which is kind of medium. I might want to fetch. I think I'm going to give myself the possibility of doing that. Boo. Boo. No bueno. My opponent's deck is probably going to eat me alive. Let's be real here. They have things like Veil of Summer in game 1. They have counterspells to back their stuff up. They maybe have Mistrise Village as well. They've got really, really strong options. Are we going now? We are not going now. Given the number of cards that I have in my graveyard and the fact that I have 2 Death Shadows, I think I am just fetching. I think it needs to be damage so that I can move towards a clock, despite the fact that I really would like to surveil to try to find Force of Will. But it's basically only surveilling for Force of Will and Thoughtseize. I'm gonna do the damage. Dismember, not what I am looking for. I'm going to Watery Grave and pass. I'm going to continue to hold the Dress down. Brainstorm is fine. I have Bowmasters in the sideboard to help with that. Need to get these Dismembers out of my deck. My opponent puts a 1 ring on this stack. I might need to Dress down to try to hit Consign to Memory. I do not like my odds here. Opponent grabs a Tropical Island with that. Cantrips are fine. More accurately, they're fine in the short term. I do need to do something with Shadow longer term. My opponent doesn't put small creatures in play. Excuse me, and I can't use Dismember to do my thing and enable Death Shadow. It does not feel good. I'm going to go for putting in Dress Down off of Show and Tell rather than casting it. I get to draw a card. It is a Thoughtseize. That is an Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. It is a 15/15. And an Uro. Yeah, so they lose their abilities, but they're still big. We can tap out there. If it was just something like an Atraxa, and I get to stop that trigger, maybe we can claw our way back. Force of Negation, Disruptor Flute, Bowmasters all in. I think Surgical Extraction plus Thoughtseize for Show and Tell is a reasonable thing to do. I didn't see 1 ring this game. Brazen Borrower is considerable. I want Dismember out of my deck. I want Ripples out of my deck. It is slow. I probably don't need a full playset of Surgical Extractions. Maybe I'm not going to play any. Kind of feels like I want to keep most of my cards. Maybe we're not going to try to do the thing. If I'm going to bring in 2 Bowmasters, I probably drop 1 threat. We'll drop 1 Oculus. I have a Thoughtseize, but the rest of the hand is, I think, just fully dead. I'm not on board with this. This hand is significantly better. I'm going to keep this and pitch the Force of Will that I don't have a mate for. Watery Grave takes some self-damage. Thoughtseize my opponent. I mean, I will take your land? Slightly surprised my opponent kept that one. They never didn't have the land. Alright. I know that my opponent has Spell Pierce. When they fetch to like Surveil Land or Brainstorm, I'm going to Disruptor Flute Show and Tell. Got him. Boop. And that just puts this outside of range of castable, probably for this entire game. I keep the card off the Surveil Land, and you can absolutely Brainstorm. Ancient Tomb catapults my opponent ahead quite a bit in terms of mana. Unsign. Sure. Thoughtseize you. Brainstorm or the Cunning Wish here, probably. Do the Cunning Wish, that can get something that answers Disruptor Flute. And I will fetch, go to 13, damage myself, go to 11, drop a small Death Shadow that hopefully will just get bigger. Brainstorm is fine. Land drop. Lotus Petal, I don't think I'm going to use my Consign on that into known Spell Pierces. And this is fine. I will send in for what appears to be 2, and then after no blocks, we'll do the thing here. Taking 2 more damage and hitting my opponent for 5. There are timelines where my opponent can now just get to 6 mana before I kill them. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That helps a lot. Send it. 9. Oh, end of turn. Bowmaster. In your face. Down to 8. I'm going to shut off Ancient Tomb mana this turn. Send on in. I can try to kill my opponent with Dress Down here. I know they have double Spell Pierce, though. It might be fine. Okay, they're just going to concede anyway. That was closer than I might have liked for my opponent's 0 land hand after Thoughtseize. I'm not going to make any changes for this game. So many no-landers. Oh boy. Are we keeping that? 0 agency, triple Force of Will. If I draw any land in 2 draw steps, the hand is insane hand. I think I will take the risk. Just understanding that sometimes I lose the game very handily. That's not a land. I think there's a good chance that I can miss on turn 2 and still win. I think if I miss on turn 3, though, we're donezo. That is an Ancient Tomb. Show and Tell levels of mana are here. All right, Ponder is at least a redraw. Yes. Bam, bam, Bam. No shuffle. Land drop. Pass. And then my opponent can Surveil or Hunting Wish or whatever it is they're going to do. And they like their card. Which I don't like. Ponders are fine. That's fine. We're chilling. I think I'm going to Surveil land here. Wouldn't mind hitting another land drop. Consign. Yes. I'm going to take that because I can consign plus Dreadnought with double Force of Will still available. So consign. That's a Spell Pierce. There's a Force of Will. I maybe should have kept the other Force of Will in case I draw more blue cards on following turns. The game's over so quickly, it probably doesn't matter. I should have thought about that more, though. I counter it. Oh, it's stock up. You get that. It's obviously very good. But I think I don't get to counter that. Alright. Bam. Combat. My opponent dies next turn. So whatever they do, I Force of Will it. Force of Will, pitching Dress down. Do you have protection in the 7 remaining cards? Fuck. Alright. I don't have anything I can put in. The Death Shadow will just die. That's an Omniscience. There's an Atraxa, which presumably is going to result in me being dead. Yeah, that's Atraxa into Emrakul. That'll do. We put some wins on the board, but we come out at a slightly negative record. Alright, so at the end of the day, overall thoughts on the deck list. Honestly, Plum Wizard, I think you put together something that was pretty darn good. I don't think Ripples fits the deck, despite being synergistic with the stuff that's happening here. Like, on paper, this seems good. It's fueling Oculus, it's fueling Likeness Looter. But in practice, it felt like my deck was a high-speed deck, where I am looking to assemble Dreadnought plus way to enable it, or Likeness Looter plus way to enable it, and just hit my opponent twice and end the game. And Ripples does not contribute to that plan. It seems so good on paper, though. Like, it's life loss for Death Shadow, and it enables 2 other graveyard-based cards. I just don't know that it's better than just playing some standalone strong card that can win a game. I believe it's Lazav the Multifarious. There's a couple Lazav cards. There's another pseudo-Likeness Looter card that's legendary, though. Maybe you play one of those over a Ripple to just better assemble your combo. I could see something like that being true. I could also just see getting rid of Ripples or moving Ripples to the sideboard and just playing the Bowmasters in the main. They were really, really important for the blue matchups, which we faced a lot of today. A third Bowmasters would have been better in the sideboard for this league than the Null Rod that I added in. That's for sure. And I guess the secondary question beyond that is what we are doing here stronger than just playing one of the existing Dimir decks, right? There's a Dimir Reanimator deck, there's a Dimir sort of tempo deck. You can go slightly slower than that and play a Dimir mid-range. Is the payoff of Dreadnought worth it over just slamming a bunch of Goyfs and Tamios? You just play a couple Tamios in this deck to draw removal so that Likeness Looter and Death Shadow are more likely to live? That's a whole nother question. Or do a couple of Goyfs of some flavor make sense in the 75? Unsure. Those are what I'm thinking about, though. Alright, folks, I hope you all enjoyed the league, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!